Today, on the 189th chapter of the Laymans Journal, we're going to talk about a story that I don't think is getting enough traction in the news. We've got a scandal involving reviews at Rotten Tomatoes. In a story that was broken by Vulture Magazine and summarized by Screen Geek, PR firms for the past 5 years have been paying critics for positive reviews on the Rotten Tomatoes website. We're going to go over Screen Geek's summary of the article, as well as a couple of clips that support these claims, and we'll also discuss why none of this surprises me. So without further ado, let's get it. First, I want to give a shout out to Geeks and Gamers. They were the first ones that I saw covering this story. I don't agree with everything they have to say, but I think they did an excellent job in breaking down every angle of this story. But to summarize the article, it looks like PR firms have been manipulating movie scores on Rotten Tomatoes by paying critics directly for years. And one firm in particular that's been doing this is called Bunker 15, and they were paying critics $50 for one single review on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
And they strategically chose obscure critics. And the reason why they chose obscure critics is because Rotten Tomatoes tracks them, because they are part of a large aggregate of movie review critics that Rotten Tomatoes follows. And the way Rotten Tomatoes does it is they look at everyone as being equal, whether you're a journalist with 1 million followers or some small guy with 2,000 followers. They're all a part of the same larger score. So it was easier to go after the small guys because they were cheaper and their opinion carried as much weight. Because as you know, people don't read movie reviews anymore. They just look at the overall score from the collection of all the critics. Now this is something that director Paul Schrader, an open critic of Rotten Tomatoes, has also been saying for years. According to him, the system is broken because normal people don't go through reviews like they used to, and Rotten Tomatoes is something that studios can game, so they do. Now, in defense of Rotten Tomatoes, I don't get the impression that they are part of any of this. In fact, they released a statement that says, "We take integrity of our scores seriously and do not tolerate any attempts to manipulate them. We have a dedicated team who monitors blah 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 blah," and the rest is corporate lingo, but I believe them. From what the article outlines, this is something that happened with PR firms and critics that Rotten Tomatoes knew nothing about. Now, before I give my opinion on the entire situation, I also want to include 2 audio clips, one from Sci-Fi Wire and the other one from Kyle Newman. First, starting with Sci-Fi Wire.
Everybody in our industry occasionally has to play softball, occasionally has to, look the other way a little bit. Everybody has to do it.
Wait, we're turning what? Like a movie that's
in the sense that,
or?
I hated a movie, but I won't say that I hated the movie. Or an actor behaved a sort of way, and you don't want to, put it out there that happened.
Right, because you might not get the next review.
Right.
Next
So
gig.
to some degree, everybody in our industry that is a part of this quote unquote access media has to sort of decide which battles they want to pick.
And now we have Kyle Newman.
You look at Last Jedi, I honestly don't know anybody out here, maybe 2 people in my life, and hundreds of people I've talked to that like the movie. All the filmmakers I know that won't talk about it publicly. All the people I know internally, there's all these people that won't, even journalists that give it positive reviews are like, I do that because I need to maintain my access. Like, privately, there's a lot of people that really don't like that film.
The thing about it too, though.
So you're saying the ones who gave it good reviews really are phony reviews?
But the other thing too is just the fact that
100%,
it should be.
I can't name them, but yes.
No, well, of course, yes.
So looking at all of this, none of this surprises me, because this is something I've been talking about ever since I've had my YouTube channel. And for me, this goes all the way back to Captain Marvel, when Rotten Tomatoes was deleting tens of thousands of reviews, which many believe was done to prop up the score. But whether it's this scandal or what happened with Captain Marvel, I've never believed the scores that come from Rotten Tomatoes. I believe for a long time that the movie review system has always been about pay for play. And that part about PR firms hiring obscure critics, I've seen that personally, especially when you look at that in the context of the audio that came from Sci-Fi Wire about critics pushing positive reviews for access. In other words, they just do it for free. I saw evidence of that at the Disney Wakanda Forever premiere. For those who don't know, 2 weeks before the movie released, Disney had a purple carpet event where they invited celebrities and select media from the press. They didn't just invite big members of the press, they also invited these smaller YouTube channels. Some of them had fewer than 2,000 subscribers. And once they saw the movie, Those that were invited were allowed to go online and give their reaction, but not their reviews. And I was amazed at how everybody had these glowing remarks regarding the movie. They were emotional, they were celebratory, they were acting like it was the best film they ever seen in their life. And it was one content creator in particular who was bragging and geeking over how he saw so many celebrities and how excited he was to meet Kevin Feige and how Kevin Feige asked him about his mom. And that's when I got to understanding that this whole thing is crooked. That movie studios actually go out and they find people that they know will give a favorable review, give them early access, and have them push out their positive opinions into the media in order to persuade the general audience to see their movie. Because as I pointed out before, movie studios are all about making a profit, and the best way to make a profit is to get people to see their films. And the best way to get people to see their films is to have a bunch of positive press regarding their movie. And that's what I saw at the Wakanda Forever premiere. A bunch of people who were paid, not necessarily financially, but paid with access to say, hey, if you say something about us, you get to meet this celebrity, you get to come to this event. That's what I saw. But it's not just with the small YouTubers. I also see that with the large corporate-backed media, because there's an incestuous relationship there as well. Now, I've already explained what the studio needs to make its money, but the larger press needs to make its money as well. And the way that they do that is by ad revenue. So if a large magazine wants Marvel or Disney or the MCU to advertise in their publication, they need to be favorable regarding their movies. So it's sort of like a one hand washes the other type of situation. The big media company needs to sell ad space, and the studio needs to sell tickets. So the big studio will advertise in the big media company, they'll buy their ad space, and the big media company will in turn prop up the movie.
I get it now.
And this is what frustrates me about doing movie reviews, even though that was the reason why I even started a YouTube channel. And the reason why I hate it is because my movie review videos are the least viewed on my channel. And that's largely due to the fact that I am disadvantaged. You see, the access media, the corporate-backed media, and these obscure brown nosers outperform me in views because they get to see the movie 2 weeks in advance. So they get access that I don't get, and that gives them a head start. And on top of that, they're able to release their reviews the Tuesday prior to the film's release. Whereas someone like myself, I don't get my review out until Friday evening, the day after the movie is released. I have to wait with everyone else. So by the time I release my video, fans have already seen the movie. They already know whether or not the movie is good or bad, so there's no point in watching review after they know that answer. And that's not fair. That's not fair to me because I can't compete with them, but it's also not fair to you because you're getting lied to. You're being told that a movie is great even though you know it's terrible. Going back to the Kyle Newman audio clip, as he said, everyone in Hollywood knew The Last Jedi movie was terrible, but they were afraid to speak up. So instead, they told you, the consumer, the movie was great, and you wasted your money to go see that trash. But as the honest people like me, by the time we got our voices out, your money was already gone. So I think the only solution to putting an end to this is to stop reading those publications. I don't have to call out who the shill media members are, you know who they are. As I've outlined earlier, they're the ones who get the early access. They're the ones going around calling a movie great that you know personally was terrible. Freeze them out. And when it comes to the movie, be patient. I have a background in IT, and I used to tell my customers all the time, you should never implement an operating system in the year of its release. I always say wait until that second or third year, after the operating system has been out for a while, because you're going to get a lot of bugs in that first year, and you're not going to have wide support. And it's the same thing with gaming consoles. I tell people all the time, you don't want a PS5 or the new Xbox in the first year because there's not going to be a lot of support for it. You want to wait until that second and third year when all the games are out. If you're going to see a film and you're not certain what it's about, you're not familiar with the brand, don't base your decision to see the movie off of the critical scores that come out before the film is released. 9 times out of 10, you're getting a score that was influenced by the studio or these PR firms. Be patient. Wait a couple days after the film has been released, because that's where you're going to get the real opinions. So I'm going to close things right here, but before I go, follow me on my other social media platforms. And if you like this video, please share the link on your social media platforms. That more than anything would be a huge help in getting the word out. But most importantly, check out the other videos in my library, as I'm sure you'll find something there you'll enjoy. Here's a preview of my latest work. Every man has a simp story, or what we call an RP moment. It's a time when he's forced to accept the true nature of a modern woman. I have several, of those moments. And as life goes on, I'll have several more, because I'm hard-headed like that. But the one I'm going to share with you today is one that many men have experienced. It's about falling in love with a woman that turned out to be a 304. It was my freshman year of college, and I met this beautiful young woman. We'll call her Sarah for legal purposes. And Sarah was racially androgynous. Her mother was biracial, half black, half white, and her father was Indian or South Asian. She had long, beautiful hair, down past her shoulders with loose curls, and she was natural. There was no weave or wig or extensions in her hair. Her skin complexion was light brown, and she had hazel-colored eyes, and she rarely wore makeup. There was no need for it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I say she was easily an 8, maybe even a 9. I had known Sarah for about 3 months, but at the time that I met her, I was dating someone else. We eventually broke up, and immediately I started pursuing her. Sarah, that is, and she was receptive. But we never got beyond the talking stage of the relationship, so we weren't really dating. But we were more than just friends. We hung out with each other regularly, and we were open about our mutual interest. We'd go to lunch together, dinner together. This was all on campus, of course, and we did it every day. You see, I met Sarah at church, where we'd attend twice a week. So in my mind, she was a good, clean Christian woman. And on weekends, we hang out together and watch movies. And she had been to my dorm many times. But again, we were good Christians. There was no fornication between us, not even kissing or making out, because we were saving it for marriage. Well, at least I was. More on that later. But everyone on campus knew I was talking to her, because they always saw me with her. This had been going on for about 2 weeks, until one day I didn't see her, which was odd because I saw her every day. I hung out with her every day. And keep in mind, we were friends for about 3 months before we were talking. But I didn't think about it until a couple days passed. Then I started to worry. And finally, a mutual friend told me that Sarah had dropped out of school, and she was staying with family off campus because she had been violated by members of a popular fraternity on campus. Now, I won't go into detail on what specifically happened, but they allegedly put something in her drink, and they ran a choo-choo on her. At least 8 guys in total, I was told. It was a group activity. As you can imagine, that is a horrible thing to hear about a woman that you're pursuing a relationship with. But the next day, the truth came out. The group session with the frets did happen, but she wasn't forced to do it. It was consensual. She was paid for her time. You see, she did the same thing in my dormitory with 5 other gentlemen who paid her $20 each. And apparently everyone in my dorm knew about it, including my roommate, who knew I was talking to Sarah. So I was the only one kept in the dark. Now, the reason she claimed she was violated by the frat boys is because word had gotten out and she was embarrassed. People were openly talking about her, and apparently she was well known for this. You see, she was a transfer student. She attended school at the neighboring university adjacent to my college, and she had been doing the same thing over there, which is why she transferred, to escape the ridicule and the rumors. So not only did everyone on my campus know, but everyone in the neighboring campus knew as well, except for me. My dumbass was trying to date her while practicing abstinence. This woman racked up 13 bodies in 1 week on my watch, and I had no clue. I thought she was a work. That's all I have to say about it. What do you have to say about it? Leave a comment in the comment section and let's have a conversation. Okay, so you've heard me say this a million times. So if you like this video, please give it a like and leave a comment in the comments section and share the link on your social media platforms. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you'll get alerts every time I upload new content. This is the Layman's Journal. Thanks for stopping by. I'm out.
Hell! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
And while I do appreciate you sharing, subbing, and leaving comments, I'm going to ask that you take another step further in keeping the channel going. I set up a membership plan for those of you who would like to offer further support in the development of this channel. It's not anything expensive or special. I'm just asking for 99 cents a month, which is enough for me to continue doing the work that I do here.
Help me! Help me! Help me!
In the future, there will be additional tiers with added benefits, but for right now, I just need your support so that I can cover basic costs. So please, sign up so I can continue bringing you awesome content. This is the Layman's Journal. I'm out.